Hey guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic, Delaware. And we have got the super advanced tutorial videos coming on for you for strat-o-matic baseball. We've covered a lot so far this evening. And now we are going to get into base stealing. That's right. And there are two different sets of rules for advanced. Advanced mirrors closely the basic stealing. The supplemental stealing for super advanced is kind of wacko, so we're going to get through advanced quickly. Page 9, Rule 22.0, Advanced. Use the letters for the steal ratings, just like you do in basic. Some pitchers have different stealing grades than the generic E grade on the 8 pitchers hitting cards. These pitchers will be listed separately on the roster sheet that came with the season set you got. Use the basic stealing game rules with these modifications. The catcher's throwing arm, a rating of -5 to +5 in parentheses, following his fielding rating on the advanced side of his card, will be subtracted or added to the stealer's safe chances. I don't have a catcher ready. Here comes Mr. Olson again to help us out. Greg Olson, everybody, let's hear it for him. I'll put it right there. Yeah, that'll work. Catcher 2, range 2, parentheses -1. That number in parentheses is his throwing arm modifier. So in this case, you would subtract 1 from either of these base runners' safe range. Otis Nixon would be a 1 to 17 going to second base. If he is held, that would be a 1 to 16. Nope. Holding. That comes up later. We'll catch that. I've got so many rules bouncing around in my head. But then the catcher's arm, Greg Olson, with the -1 would make it a 1 to 16. David Justice is a C, so he would be 1 to 11 going to second base. Greg Olson's -1 arm subtracted would be 1 to 10. If it was a +1, then you're adding 1 to it. If it's a +5, you're adding 5 to it. If it's a -5, you're Yadier Molina, and you're not stealing. 22 T ratings. If the runner steals second on or third base on a roll of the D20 of 1, 2, or 3, then you're going to roll it again. Now the catchers have T ratings, throwing error ratings, listed after their error rating. So catcher 2, -1 arm, E2, T, 1 through 3. In this instance, roll the 20-sided die again and refer to the catcher's card for his T numbers, 1 through 3. If the second roll is within the T range, the catcher has committed a throwing error, allowing the base runners to advance 1 additional base. If the second roll was outside of the T range, that's not 1 through 3, no error occurs. Here we go, holding runners on base. The rules for holding a runner are the same as in basic option, except for the different way to calculate deduction from the runner's safe chances of stealing. In basic, you use the catcher's grade, fielding grade. In advanced play, you use the base stealer's steal rating, steal grade. So you can see, if you hold Otis Nixon, he's a AA, you're going to subtract 2. A AAA, like Ty Cobb, you would subtract 1 if you're holding him. 2 if you're Otis Nixon. David Justice is a C, you're subtracting 3. A D or an E stealer, you're subtracting 4. In advanced play, first add or subtract the catcher's throwing arm, regardless of whether the runner is being held. Then, if the runner is held, make this further deduction depending on the base stealer's steal rating. In advanced and super advanced play, when a runner is held on first or second, subtract 1 from his running rating, when that rating is needed to determine whether he can advance an extra base on another player's hit. So that means if he's being held in case he's stealing, and David Justice, you get down to from a 111 to 110, you're like, no, I don't like a 50-50, I'm not going to do it. And then there's a single, and you decide to take advantage of his 1 to 13 to try to get to third. While he was held, that's now a 1 to 12. So that is another way that holding a base runner on base can affect other portions of the game. And we will be right back to do super advanced. You're going to be able to hear that on my video. Turn it down, please. Alrighty, back at it. Rule 23.0, super advanced stealing. I have made myself little cheat cards that cover rules 23.1 all the way through rule 23.5 on page 10. So we are going to skip that, and we are going to use my little cheat cards because it's going to make it easier for me to explain this to you and hopefully get the hang of it a little bit better. Everything is there. Okay. So when you are stealing, you're not going to use the letter grades. You're going to use these numbers right here to the right of the letter stealing grades used in advanced and basic. To steal the bait, well, let's first go through what these numbers mean. If there is an asterisk, that means that the player can get an automatic good lead. You always need to see if he can get a lead before stealing in super advanced. If there's no asterisk there, it's not an automatic good lead. You need to roll to see if he gets a good lead. If the base runner is being held, even if there is an asterisk, you have to roll to see if he gets a good lead. The following numbers tell you whether or not he gets a good lead. Otis Nixon, and you roll 2d6s in order to determine this. Otis Nixon gets a good lead on 2 through 7 and 11. Everything in front of the slash. David Justice on a 3 through 7. So let's say that we rolled a 2. Well, let's do this. Let's just explain what everything is. Everything behind the slash is an automatic out when rolling for the lead. Nixon has no automatic outs. David Justice is automatically out if he rolls a 9 or an 11. The numbers in parentheses are his unadjusted safe steal rating if he's not held and if he is held. Justice, if he's not held, his unadjusted steal rating safe is 115. The 7 means if he is held, his unadjusted safe range is 1 through 7, going to second base. Well, no, unadjusted, because you adjust it going to third. That's his unadjusted safe range. Same with Otis Nixon. His unadjusted safe ranges, if he is not held, it is 18. If he is held, it is 1 through 16. Rolling the D20. Now that is what those numbers mean. This is how you steal. First, you get the catcher's arm and the pitcher's hold rating. So in this instance, since they are on the table, we're going to use, let's bring in Mr. John Smiley, even though he's on a different team. Yeah, John Smiley and Greg Olson, since we have them handy. The pitcher's hold rating is listed next to the hand he throws with, so he is a -1. You subtract that from these numbers, just like the catcher's throwing arm on stealing, just like the outfielder's arm on advancing bases. So his hold rating is -1. Craig Olson's throwing arm is -1. So in this instance, this is -2. And the maximum is plus or minus 5. You can't go above that. You adjust the safe ranges now. So Otis Nixon is now, instead of 18, 16, he is 16 if he is not held, 14 if he is held. Now, if he is held, then you subtract 2 from the first one and 4 from the second one. So instead of 16, 14, let's say he is actually held, which is declared before we're even doing any of this. Defensive managers like, I want to hold Nixon on first. So then you want to try to steal Nixon. So you do the catcher's arm and pitcher's hold, adjust the safe ranges, and now this is 16 and 14. He is being held, so now that is not held. That is good lead or no lead. I am sorry. That is good lead and no lead. Not a good lead. I apologize for that. That is not held or not held. These numbers are whether he gets a good lead or whether he doesn't get a good lead. Sorry about that. Then if he's held, you make extra deductions. So instead of 16, 14, you subtract 2 from the good lead, so 16 becomes 14. 4 from the bad lead, the not a good lead, which goes from 14 to 10. So now he's 14 and 10 if he was held. So these numbers, if he gets a good lead, he's safe on 1 through 14. If he doesn't get a good lead, he's safe on 1 through 10. Now we do our lead check. With an asterisk, it's an automatic good lead if he's not held, and he would use this number. If he is held, or there is no asterisk, then we need to roll 2d6 and see if it falls within his good lead range. 6, 2 through 7, and 11. So that is good. He's got a good lead, so now he's going to use this adjusted 14. If in the lead range it's a good lead and you steal now. 3. He has stolen second. If it is not in the lead range, let's say we had instead rolled a 10. You did not get a good lead. Now you would use this one, which is adjusted down to 10. And since you didn't get a good lead, you have a choice of stealing. You can either steal or stay at first and wait for the at-bat to unfold. Now, some have an automatic out range, like Mr. David Justice here. His good lead is 3 through 7. If he rolls a 9 or an 11, he is automatically out. So if we had rolled a 9, just like if you get a good lead, you steal automatically. If you get in the auto out range, you are caught stealing. 9 is in his auto out range behind the slash. 9 and 11. He is caught stealing second base. If he had roll, well, let's do it for David Justice again, right from the word jump. On something we forgot to do on the other one. We'll cover that in a minute. So, defensive manager says, I'm going to hold Justice on first. We're going to try to steal Justice. So we take the hold -1, throwing arm -1, so we have -2. So if he gets a good lead, it's 13. Not a good lead, it is 1 to 5. He said he was going to hold him, so now, if he gets a good lead, it is 1 to 11. Not a good lead, it is 1. Now we do our lead check. 8, it is not in the good lead range. However, it's not an automatic out. So not a good lead, this was adjusted down to 1. So now he has 1 to steal. He has a choice whether he's going to or not, and I don't think he's going to try to steal because they are all over him like white on rice. So that is how you go through that. And then if you're going to steal, you roll the die. And if you come up rolling 1, 2, or 3, then you roll again for the throwing error. His throwing range is 1 through 3. Roll a second time. 15, no throwing error. If it had been a 1, it would have been a throwing error. Runners advance a base. Additional rules for different bases. If you are stealing third, if the runner is held, you subtract 4 from both lead ratings. Good lead, not a good lead. You subtract 4 from both. There is no auto lead. The asterisk does not count. You must roll the check to see if you get a good lead. No lead, you may not steal third. No, go with the lower rating. If you do not get a good lead, you may not steal third. And auto out is still on. If you roll in here, you're going for third and you're caught out. Stealing home, you always use the second safe rating no matter what. You always use the lesser one. This one isn't even in it for stealing home. You use the lesser one. If you're held, you subtract 4 from it. If you don't, and there is no automatic lead, you must roll for a lead. You must do the check. If you do not get a lead, you may not steal, and automatic out is on going home as well. That is most of super advanced stealing. Let's do a couple of examples again with different players, and then we'll follow the rest of the rules for advanced stealing. Let's try Ron Gant. Okay, we're going to hold Ron Gant on first. Okay, well, I want to try to steal with Ron Gant. So we've got catcher arm, pitcher hold, -1, -1, so that's -2. So a good lead is 15, no good lead is 13. He is held, so now that becomes 13 and 9. Remember that, 13 and 9. We roll for the lead. It is a 4, and he needs a 2 through a 6 or a 12. So he gets a good lead. So now we are using 13. He gets a good lead, you steal automatically. 15, he is thrown out. That's how you steal. Boom, stealing second, just like that. Let us say Otis Nixon is on second base. We're not going to hold Otis Nixon on second base. There's 1 out. Braves really need to try to get a run in, so Nixon is going to try to steal third because he doesn't have a good hold rating or a good throwing arm. So he's not taking a lot off that. So he's not being held. You take 2 from each of these, and he is 16-14 going to third. There is no automatic lead, so he must roll for his lead. He needs a 2 through 7 or an 11. 8. He does not get a good lead. So now, subtracting 4, that is 12. No lead, no steal. So since he did not get the lead, he cannot steal third. He is holding on second base. That's pretty much it. I mean, if it's a quick little cheat sheet, if you guys would like to copy that down, you know, pause the video, go ahead and scribble what I scribbled, or I can maybe on request get abbreviated instructions to you, but it's a good cheat sheet to have. It has gotten me through a whole lot. And now we are going to go through the rest of the base stealing advanced rules, and there aren't many left. We're going to go to page 10, left column near the bottom, rule 23.6. And do that. Hopefully, yeah, we can see it better. Good. 23.6, double and triple steals. In double or triple steals, only the lead runner's ratings will be used. The defense may attempt to throw out the lead runner only. So if you're double stealing men at first and second, then you are running the guy at second stealing third. And if he cannot steal, then nobody steals. If it's an automatic out, then let's see if it says. It does not say. The trail runner automatically advances a base. So even if it's an automatic out, or if he goes and gets it, the guy on first makes it to second. Force steals on the hit and run. If the lead runner has not yet rolled for the good lead, when a hit and run result requires the runner to steal, then do so. Roll for the lead at that point, and then proceed normally for stealing a base, making all necessary adjustments and modifications. If the runner has previously failed to achieve the good lead and the hit and run subsequently requires a steal, then proceed as you would for a runner who does not have a good lead. You cannot re-roll for a lead until another at-bat has come. If the lead base runner is on second and he fails to obtain a good lead, he is automatically out trying to steal third. If he doesn't get a good lead, he is automatically out because he must run on the hit and run. Rule 23.8, holding runners on base. A runner may be held on base when the infield is playing back. Additionally, in super advanced play, any runner may be held when the infield is playing corners in. Depending on the runner's base, he is held on by different fielders, consult the runner being held chart on page 17 to determine who has responsibility for holding the runner The fielder covering the runner's current base and the potential steal is at second. The infielder would be taking the throw from the catcher. That chart is right here, holding base runners. And it gives you the basic game, it gives you the advanced game, and also gives you who is responsible. Runner on first, left-handed, right-handed batter, runner on second. And this is the lead stealer. If you've got more than one guy stealing a base, then you always go with the lead stealer, or runner at third. Note, use the runner being held chart to determine infielders responsible. We just went over that. Which supersedes the table titled Super Advanced Holding Runner Chart, which I had not seen or used yet. There is a super advanced, is there? I don't see it. And it's not here then, it must be somewhere else in the book. Super advanced holding runners chart. I don't see it, we're not going to worry about it because that chart supersedes it, so use the chart we just looked at. When an infielder is responsible for holding a runner with a ground ball X is hit to him, add 1 to that fielder's range rating. So if he is a first base 2 and he is responsible for holding a runner and it's a ground ball X, move him to a first base 3. Or with runner held at first and a left-handed hitter at the plate, shortstop rated 2E20 becomes 3E20. Maximum range rating is 5. Do not award a single 2-star on a ground ball position plus while runners are being held on base. Instead, when a ground ball X to an infielder responsible for holding the runner results in a symbol followed by a pound sign, change that result to SI2. Single with all runners advancing 2 bases. When a runner is held on first or second, subtract 1 from his running rating when that run rating is needed to determine whether he can advance an extra base. If the base runner is not being held, add 1 to this rating. Delayed steal of home. With runners at first and third, the offensive manager may attempt a delayed steal of home. This may not be attempted if either runner has previously rolled for a good lead. Use this procedure. Do not roll for the lead. Instead, calculate the safe range for the runner at first by using his second steal rating number, in parentheses, and plus or minus the catcher's arm. Do not adjust for the pitcher's hold rating. So delayed steal of home, you're going to use this second one and the catcher's arm only. So 16 minus 1 is 15. If the runner on first attempts to steal, the defensive manager chooses whether to have the catcher hold on to the ball, thus conceding second, or to throw to second in an attempt to throw out the runner. If the defensive manager chooses to throw to second, the offensive manager has the option of having the runner on third attempt to steal home. Calculate the save chances by subtracting 5 from his second steal rating number in parentheses. So that would be an 11 were Nixon on third. Do not adjust for the pitcher's hold rating, the catcher's arm, or the fact that he is held on base. Catcher's arm is being used throwing to second, so you go straight off this minus 5. He's 1 to 11 stealing home. That's not too bad. If the runner on third attempts to steal home, the defensive manager has a choice. Let the ball go through and try to get the runner attempting to steal second, or cut the ball off and throw home. After all choices are made, roll the 20-sided die to determine the result. With 2 outs, if the defense throws out the runner going to second, the runner on third does not score. And with that, we have pretty much covered stealing and holding base runners on. And I really hope that this video helped. I wanted to show the way that I do it, and I was able to explain it better going through the rules. I may have fumbled it a little bit. Any further clarification, I will be more than happy to help. Anything else I can provide at all, you know, we're all here to make ourselves better players and to make the game more enjoyable. It is not difficult, but I'm still at the point in the game where I need this little visual aid. But I'll tell you what, just having this written out like this makes such a huge difference, because I go down my checklist and boom, I'm stealing a base or not. Bam, that's it. So again, thank you. If you like the channel, please give it the thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your friends. If you're interested in getting this game, go to www.strat-o-matic.com and feel free to spend your hard-earned dollars there, because that way they'll know that what they're doing is something good, and they'll keep making this game for years to come. Guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic, Delaware. A few more videos coming up perhaps, but hopefully this helped. I really hope this helped. This is the biggest thing for me, and I still I'm not even close to having this down pat yet. But you do what you need to do in order to make it easier. And I've got these things sitting up here on the pegboard, and just easy reference, quick reference, and it's not that difficult a thing to grasp. It really isn't. SADv, it's the way to go. Guys, Chris, strat-o-matic, Delaware. Keep on rolling.